let's say you're the Cavs and you call up R.C. Buford of the Spurs and you say, hey, how does Kevin Love and our 8th overall selection sound for Kawhi Leonard? How do you respond to that?
If I'm R.C. Buford,
yes,
I don't know that gets it done at all. And listen, I think Kevin Love has acquitted himself quite nicely. I think he's a proven commodity. But it just would be hard. And I do think there are going to be much better offers for Kawhi Leonard than that. You look at the assets that Boston has. You look at the assets that the Lakers have. And the other thing is, if you're going to trade a guy like Kawhi Leonard, I don't necessarily want a aging star. I don't want a guy on the back nine of his career. I want somebody who has a chance to emerge and be an incredible talent for the next 5 to 10 years. And so that's why I think teams like L.A. and Boston are in a much better situation in order to make a deal with San Antonio. And if the rumors are true, and Kawhi's already let it be known that he intends to re-sign in L.A. or wants to sign in L.A., I don't know that you would even risk that, because if he doesn't give you the guarantee that he's going to re-sign, then you're basically giving away a ton of talent. And it's no different than what OKC is dealing with right now. If Paul George doesn't re-sign there, all they did to get him is for naught. So, you can't in this day and age take the risk of making a blockbuster deal for a guy that has no intention of re-signing with you.
Greg Anthony, he's part of NBA TV's draft coverage tonight, Turner Sports. Greg Anthony back here on the show. Let's dig a little bit deeper into this, because I brought this up a little bit on yesterday's show, and I haven't really heard this discussed involving Kawhi Leonard, because he's such a spectacular two-way player, and he's young, and he has so much talent and can bring LeBron to wherever he is, if that is the intention of the team that acquires Kawhi Leonard. Greg, is the idea that if the rumors are true, that he really wasn't all that hurt, but had feelings hurt, and thus was sitting out this season to create this moment that he could use for maximum leverage. Would you as a teammate be concerned to bring somebody like that into your locker room, Greg?
Well, let me answer this way. First and foremost, that isn't true, okay? I know with certainty that's not true. Having said that, if it were true, absolutely you'd have a concern. More importantly, I think as an organization I would have a concern, because you would never want a guy to hold an organization hostage like that, right? Like that would never be acceptable within the locker room, within the front office, within the league for that matter. So that would not be the case. And it wasn't. The reality is this. His injury was misdiagnosed by San Antonio. And that's what basically created the situation where there's a lack of trust. And rightfully so. I would have an issue as a player with that, because your career is finite, right? And he's also coming into the midst of where, he's about to sign a mega contract. He's a proven commodity. He's right smack dab in the beginning of the midst of his prime. And so it would create some uncertainty in your mind. And so now the way it all played out after that is what I think, even more than the misdiagnosis, I think the way that San Antonio dealt with it publicly didn't help their cause. And so that's why we're in a situation now where it's very likely that he won't resign, which, is unfortunate for San Antonio, because he's become the kind of player he is there. But, these things do happen. And sometimes guys want to go elsewhere to try to maximize their opportunities to win or to whatever it is, whatever the priorities may be. But it is unfortunate. But again, this all creates an incredible interest for this upcoming offseason because of LeBron, Kawhi, Paul George, all these A-list mega superstars. They're going to potentially have an impact in terms of changing the power structure in the NBA.
Yeah. So, and also Chris Paul, who I just want to get to in a second. So just to recap here, you don't think there's an opportunity? Well, there's an opportunity. You don't think the chances are likely that the way that Popovich and the Spurs were able to put the toothpaste back in the tube with LaMarcus Aldridge last year, when he was requesting exit visas from San Antonio. You don't think that's going to happen with Kawhi Leonard?
No, because this one had – the thing with LaMarcus is his issue was actually more on the court from the standpoint – and Pop even acknowledged this, that he made the mistake in terms of how he utilized him. He was a guy that had been, a 9-year pro, had established himself as one of the best players in the league, and you decided you wanted to have him do things differently. He said that was a mistake on my part, and they had a heart to heart about that. This one is a little bit different. Again, it starts with the misdiagnosis, and then just the way they went about it, because there was never any public embarrassment of LaMarcus Aldridge from Pop or that organization. And I just got a sense that because Kawhi, we never heard from him, I just got a sense that the way those things went down, they basically done so much damage that it would be irreparable. The analogy, it'd be like telling your wife you want a divorce and then trying to walk that one back.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can walk that one back, partner. Like once you say that word, in essence, once you've broken the trust, I don't know that you could repair that one. And I think this is somewhat similar. We're going to hear more about it, obviously, as they've had a meeting now. But I do still think it'd be unlikely you'll see Kawhi in San Antonio.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.